Coco Chanel accused of being a Nazi spy. From orphan to legend. The power of fashion that changed the world. The monarch of fashion. Today, a single name, Chanel, commands immediate global recognition. The brand, founded by Gabrielle Chanel, is currently valued at approximately 140 trillion Korean wons. But behind that dazzling figure lies a life filled with hardships and turbulent twists no one could have imagined. Gabrielle Chanel was born in 1883 in a small town in France. Her father, a traveling peddler, was always on the move, while her mother was frail. After her mother's death, Gabrielle and her sisters were placed in a convent orphanage. There was neither love nor comfort there, only hard labor and strict discipline. It was in that austere environment that she learned the basics of sewing from the nuns, planting the first seed that would eventually transform her life. In 1901, at the age of 18, Chanel left the orphanage to attend a boarding school in Moulins as a scholarship student. But because she was a free student, she faced endless discrimination. Once again, the world showed her its harsh side. Around that time, she became obsessed with the concept of success. By day she worked as an assistant seamstress, and at night she took odd jobs in stores, sacrificing sleep to dedicate herself fully to her craft. The feel of fabric, the act of threading a needle, the silhouette she envisioned. Sewing became both her means of survival and her method of expression. One evening, while visiting a music cafe in Moulins with friends, she was invited to sing on stage, and thus earned the nickname Coco. But despite the moniker's fame, she reportedly never truly embraced it. She pursued a singing career, auditioning repeatedly, but after countless rejections, she turned her back on performing and returned to dressmaking. Her life changed with an unexpected opportunity. Etienne Balsan, a regular patron of the café, became her benefactor and invited her to his chateau. Although she entered aristocratic circles, she was still considered an outsider. Her lack of noble lineage, education, and etiquette kept her at the margins of polite society. In response to this snub, Chanel chose horseback riding. She donned trousers instead of skirts and confidently mounted her horse, breaking down traditional gender expectations. By ignoring societal scrutiny, she became a walking symbol of style in her own right. One day she became drawn to millinery. At the time, ornate, uncomfortable hats were a staple of upper-class women's wardrobes. Chanel designed hats that were both simple and chic, and found her first taste of entrepreneurial success. Her hats became wildly popular, and through Balsan she met Arthur Boy Capel. Boy was far more than a romantic interest. He truly believed in her creative talent and backed her passion wholeheartedly. He even arranged loans that enabled her to open her first hat boutique on Rue Cambon in Paris. Chanel didn't stop at hats. She approached dressmaking next. But her clothing initially struggled in Paris. The reason was simple. Her designs were comfortable. She persevered, opening a boutique in the seaside resort of Deauville, donning her own creations as she walked the town, becoming a living advertisement. Clothes with pockets and relaxed cuts gave women a new sense of freedom, and that bold marketing move paid off spectacularly. When World War I erupted, wealthy Parisians fleeing to Deauville boosted her sales, and she opened another boutique in Biarritz. Her business boomed, employing over 300 staff. Her designs were worn by aristocrats across the country. During this period, she pioneered the use of jersey fabric, previously reserved for underwear and sportswear, in tailored suits. Blending comfort with elegance, the new style resonated with women entering the workforce and the public sphere, and triggered a fashion revolution. Having repaid Boy's loans, she opened her signature boutique at 31 Rue Cambon. But tragedy struck when Boy died in a sudden car accident. Chanel was devastated. She reportedly remained bedridden for several days. From that heartbreak arose newfound determination, and her next venture, perfume. She launched Chanel No. 5, the first fragrance to feature synthetic aldehydes. Its innovation soon made it a worldwide phenomenon. Its legend was solidified when Marilyn Monroe proclaimed, "I wear nothing to bed but Chanel No. 5. Chanel branded her fragrance as beyond reach, secretly spraying it in fitting rooms to create an aura of exclusivity. With Parfait Chanel, she secured full control over distribution. She also introduced layered pearl and faux bead necklaces, and launched the legendary little black dress, leaving an indelible mark on fashion. But her life darkened again. During World War II, her relationship with German officer Hans von Dinklage and rumored Nazi associations ensnared her in controversy. Her name appeared in secret police files, and the release of her nephew from a German internment camp fueled further suspicion. In post-liberation France, women linked to Germans were often publicly humiliated. Chanel was summoned before a tribunal but was soon released, reportedly with protection from Winston Churchill and the Duke of Westminster. She withdrew to Lausanne, Switzerland, living in exile for 8 years. One day, Chanel once again stood in front of the window of the orphanage where she had stayed as a child. Though her life had been glamorous, deep within her remained the lonely girl who had always wrestled with solitude. She wasn't merely a woman who made clothes, she transformed the lives of women. Gabrielle Chanel was far more complex than we may ever know. The secrets within her life may still remain unsolved to this day. But one thing is clear, she was not just a fashion designer. She was a revolutionary who reshaped the course of her era and created her own style through every twist and turn of her journey. She is no longer that lonely girl at the cold window of the orphanage. The name Chanel continues to inspire women around the world, far beyond the era in which she lived. The first haute couture perfume, number 5. Working with perfumer Ernest Bose, Chanel broke away from the convention of single-note perfumes such as lilac or rose, which had been popular at the time. Instead, she created a fragrance using a complex blend of 83 floral notes, enhanced with aldehydes, a synthetic compound that evoked a modern, urban sophistication. The result was a seductive, luxurious, and unmistakably feminine scent. This floral bouquet fragrance became a massive success upon its release, not only for the scent itself, but also because of its minimalist bottle, which perfectly matched Chanel's style, and the illustration on the packaging by the era's top artist, Sem, which added to its appeal. A new fashion icon, the little black dress. When Vogue introduced the dress in its American fashion issue, it sparked a major rebellion in the fashion world. Before the release of this dress, post-World War I shortages had already begun simplifying the clothing customs of the upper class, who once changed outfits multiple times a day. Chanel adopted black fabric, then used primarily for menswear and morning clothes, and transformed it into everyday wear, shortening skirt lengths to emphasize practicality and freedom of movement. Her design, devoid of ornamentation, was seen as breaking down gender norms and challenging social class and traditional ideals. For women, it was a dress that offered not only fashion but liberation from the constraints of corsets. Chanel suit, no longer just for men. Chanel was the first to choose tweed, a fabric traditionally used for men's jackets, as material for women's fashion. She infused the thick, soft, and resilient tweed with various hues, turning it into a symbol of a new kind of femininity. Driven by her philosophy that movement must be free, Chanel removed stiff shoulder pads, seams, and chest darts from her jackets. She added functional front pockets, braid trimming along the edges to maintain shape, and signature Chanel buttons with no buttonholes, creating a look of elegant casualness. Though jackets were once considered strictly menswear, Chanel's creation of a women's jacket completely transformed public perception of the garment. The first shoulder bag with a strap, the 2.55 quilted bag. Launched in February 1955 and named after its release date, the 2.55 quilted shoulder bag was born out of Chanel's frustration with clutching handbags in her hand and constantly misplacing them. She drew inspiration from the strap pouches carried by soldiers, functional and secure. She added a gold chain strap twisted like a metal rope, allowing women to wear the bag over their shoulders, freeing their hands while out and about. Prioritizing practicality, Chanel included interior pockets and zipper compartments, making it easy to locate personal items. To this day, the bag remains a beloved staple among women worldwide. January 10, 1971. Passed away at age 87. She died at the Ritz Hotel in Paris, where she had lived for 37 years. On the day Chanel passed, she lay in bed reflecting on her past. Despite all the love and betrayal, success and suffering she had experienced, she left behind a timeless legacy of beauty. From those many moments, she had learned something eternal. She once said, "Fashion fades, only style remains the same." As her iconic quote suggests, what Chanel left behind was not just clothing, it was a gift of freedom to women. Gabrielle Chanel. This name does not belong only to a fashion designer. but to a revolutionary who shook her era to its core. And now we are left with one final question. Did she give up everything for success? Or did she endure everything just to survive? If you found this video helpful, please subscribe, like, and turn on notifications.